Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and I just made a video about specifically for dental students and college students thinking about dentistry, how to pick the right specialty, how not to get sidelined if you might be neurodivergent, autistic, ADHD, or all that fun stuff, and getting into dentistry. It's actually, I'm serious, in dentistry, it's actually a superpower. In all jobs, it's a superpower. You just have to create a version of the career that works for you. And I don't know that going into private equity or group practices, I don't, at this moment, that is not what you want to do. And I don't even know that having a private practice, unless you structure it very carefully, is the right thing either. Um, but anyways, I'm not sure of the answers because I'm exploring this on my own, and this is completely new and to everybody, in dentistry and medicine, and most physicians don't even fully understand this. So, I'm blazing trails on my own here. So, anyways, let's talk just a little bit more about what you can do now. So what? Like here I am, 51, found out I have ADHD and autism, but together they actually work pretty well, and got through so many years, no problem, like excelling, like pretty well. And then it just started hitting later, and then realizing that I need to practice dentistry differently, but I still have so much to give to the field of dentistry, and I still love it so much. So, um, first of all, you have to kind of figure out your work mask. What is your work mask? So your work mask is how you are at work. We all have a work mask, right? We come in, we're acting a certain way. Maybe at home you chew gum or swear, or like you do things that aren't so perfect, but at work you don't maybe have bad habits, or I don't know, for example, right? Maybe you just have a better attitude, or you're more. We're all slightly better at work, right? We put on our best side. So just be aware that you have a work mask, and then you have to decide if you're going to keep work separate from your home mask, and whether you're even going to let people know at work that you're basically two different people. I think my since I didn't know there was nothing for me to tell anyone. um, I just think sometimes there would be a lot of miscommunications, and like I'm like, why do these people not understand what I'm saying? And I think part of it was because I was the doctor, and maybe I was thinking, well, maybe the people aren't that smart. I mean, like maybe they just don't understand it. Maybe I got to dumb it down a little bit, but that really wasn't what it was. It was that they didn't understand me and I didn't understand them, because we're fundamentally have two different brains. There are different brain archetypes out there and the way the brains work. And then we don't understand because we didn't know we're type A and you're type B. It's not like we have a label that says type B, communicate like type B. Now, if I know if somebody's neurotypical, like literally, that's how I operate. If I literally know that so and so friend is neurotypical, so and so is neurodivergent, I can act this way with one, I can act this way with someone else. But when I'm in a big group, if I don't know, I have to choose. I just have to kind of read the room. So, you know, that makes you look really successful. If you can put the mask in and take it off, that's great. But there's going to be times where that's not going to work. And the problem is if people are used to you being one way and then all of a sudden you have a slightly different reaction, or a very different reaction, or a different you presenting differently, it really, patients don't like it, staff doesn't like it. So it's really better to be who you are. So if you're like naturally kind of quirky, and that's the one thing I like about even orthodontics or pediatric dentistry, is that you can be quirky and everybody just knows because you're working with kids and nobody cares. Pediatricians are the same way. You just can be weird, funky, weird hair, sing, dance. I mean, whatever. That's how I always was. Well, that's just because I was neurodivergent and that's just who I am. But, of course I'm going to gravitate to working with kids, right? Because kids like me better than adults. But on the flip side, I can be very autistic and adults really do like me because I can I can really hone down, talk about the science of it. Like I don't have to be quirky and silly. I can also be like super focused. So there's two sides of my autism that I can, or my neurodivergence that I can show. So, and I think also unless you are like fully autistic, like autistic, you'd be fine being in that box every single day. Like, a lot of dentists have no problem going to work, same room, same thing, saying no changes. I would rather shoot my head off. No, thank you. I can't even go to the same. It's got to be like a giant office. I need to be able to roller skate around, move around. I can't sit in one place. My family always laughs. Like I can't sit. So, and I could as a kid. I was able to do that, but now I can't. So, I'm sure there's medications that will let me sit, but I choose not to take them. No, thank you. Okay. So I think these are just all things you need to keep in mind. Making sure that maybe you not have 8 hours of clinic a day. Maybe you just have three. Like maybe you're not full time. Maybe you're doing other stuff on the side, like I am, podcasting. creating content, education, lecturing. I love traveling and lecturing. Like, let's go. You know, I've traveled all over the country, lectured about phase one interceptive. I've been to Eastern Europe, Bulgaria. I've lectured there. I've lectured in Thailand. Like, it has brought me all kinds of places, paid. You know, I don't pay for that. So it's really fun. And that's one of my favorite things to do. Um, so just kind of keep all this stuff in mind, you know, what you're going to expect. And, you know, there is some medication that helps with some aspects of it, but there's such heavy side effects. It may not be something you can do as you get older. So even though the medication may be working for you in your 20s and 30s, nobody knows the long-term effects of this medication. And for many forms of neurodivergence, it can make things so much worse, and there's so many side effects. So it's not a fit for everybody, and it doesn't, to be honest, I mean, I have tried some of the medications that are out there, and yeah, I mean, it helps for a few hours, but no, I don't think so. So, long term, definitely not. It definitely takes away a lot of the creativity and a lot of the deep thought and the deep focus, and it isn't something I would want to do on a regular basis. So, nor do I think I'm my best self, you know, that way. So, just wanted to share this with you, just so if you don't feel alone, because I think for me, not knowing what this was, I felt super alone, and now that I'm just super out with it, I'm not ashamed of it. Even though my kids are like, "Ooh, you should take that off your LinkedIn." I mean, that's weird. Who puts that on their LinkedIn? I said, I do. Because you know what? I consider it something that people actually would like. You know, it is a benefit. Because if I'm super focused and I can see things other people can't see, that means I can do that ortho even better than 99.999% of people, you know, on LinkedIn. And I'm really confident about what I know. And I'm excited to teach you guys, because I think with a bottom up thinking philosophy, you can explain things a lot better because you see things than any class could, or any lecture or anything like that. So, you know, give it a try if you want to learn more about ortho. All right, thanks.